Welcome to Sports for Supper, live from Sammy's Restaurant at 202 U.S. Highway 90 East in Castroville. Sports for Supper, a weekly look at what's happening in area sports. And now, along with Maury Stein, Dwayne Garza, and Jeff Stivers, here's the host of Sports for Supper, Jared Lucky.
All right, welcome to another edition. This is number 9 of Medina Valley Broadcast Network Sports for Supper. I'm Jeff Stivers along with Maury Stein. Jared Lucky, your host, is not here this evening as he is celebrating the baby's first birthday tonight. Adeline. So happy birthday to Adeline, 1 year old. But we are going to go ahead and proceed with the show. Hopefully we got everything going here live. Can you hear us, Haley? You don't have it pulled up yet? Does Grandma have it pulled up? But I think we should be good. But we do have volleyball, our playoff volleyball team here with us tonight, and Coach Griggs. And we do have football tonight. And so we will go ahead and get started with Coach Griggs. Welcome, Coach Griggs. And tell us a little bit about what's been going on the last couple of weeks with Panther volleyball.
We lost 2 early, and then we kind of stabilized and lost a tough one at Harlandale. And the last 3 games, we've really kind of cleaned up our business, and looking forward to Friday night.
And Friday night is?
We play a playoff for the seed, second place seed against Southwest, and we're going to be at Legacy High School at 5:30.
And what does finish second or third? Do you know who you would play in the other district already?
Yeah, when we win, we'll play Highlands.
There you go.
And then the other option is MacArthur.
Okay.
Highlands or MacArthur. All right.
And when you finish second place, do you get to host like in football, or do you
No,
you flip for it, or how
it'll
does
be
that
in
work?
San Antonio.
It will
Either
be.
match will be in San Antonio.
In San Antonio, like at their place, or
It's not.
neutral?
We chose to do neutral.
Neutral?
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
All right, so somewhere in San Antonio next Tuesday.
Right.
All right, super. Maury, there's also, since the last time Coach Griggs was on, she's had another accomplishment in her coaching career happen. 500th win, and congratulations to that, Disa. Disa and I've worked with Disa for several years. I know the quality of coaching she's done, and she's done a great job with her volleyball programs, and just goes to show you with 500 wins. That's pretty impressive.
Absolutely.
That's pretty impressive.
Definitely.
So congratulations,
Thank
Disa,
you.
on that accomplishment.
Do you remember who your first win was against?
I don't remember my first one.
Don't remember?
No, I don't. Actually, I didn't really claim like the first year that I actually was a head coach because I had to take over in the middle of the year. So I just chose to not count those games because I just kind of inherited the team. But no, I couldn't tell you.
I would say it was somebody from down south, probably. You were at Hondo, right? It was
Yes,
Hondo?
yes,
Yeah.
it was a Honda.
Yeah. So congratulations with that. And let's see. One thing that you might talk about this evening, the cohesiveness. These girls have talked, everyone that's come on here this year has talked about the cohesiveness of the unit and how the girls just all thrive with each other. I mean, I think a lot goes with some leadership, and a lot goes with, what you have going on. You got a big senior class, big senior group.
We do, and I've told them many times that they just don't quit. They don't quit on the ball. They don't quit on each other. We managed to get a ball up that they might think is down, and I can remember many instances where we just send a crazy free ball over, and it's a kill because they don't think it's gonna come back over.
You had one of those plays last night. Somebody had one last night.
Yeah.
It looked like it was over, and then all of a sudden, one of the
Yeah.
girls sticks an arm out, and the ball's going over the net.
Yeah.
So yeah, the no quit definitely shows with them.
They are resilient, and sometimes they back themselves into their own corner, and they have to come out. Like there's been many times where we've been down 4 or 5 points, and they've got to turn it back around and not make any more errors and get themselves out of the hole they dug themselves into.
There's a lot to be said about the cohesiveness with the unit, but along the lines, you've got one of your leaders here with you tonight. Sorry, 2 of your leaders, but 1 senior, right? You're not a senior, right? Okay. 1 senior leader here tonight that really, you can tell just watching Haley out on the floor that she is that leader that they all look to go to. And as Haley goes, the team goes. And she does a great job of, being the positive person out on the floor, trying to get everybody going again. And she does a great job.
Right.
So moving on to Southwest, okay. Last night was a great job. It was Eagle Pass win, got the win, did what you should do, 1-3. You got Southwest for 2nd, 3rd seed Friday night. I was at both games, saw both games, and it was like the team, each team that won fed off the home crowd.
Right.
So obviously it's going to be on a Friday night.
Right.
Expecting a pretty good crowd at Southwest Legacy. How do you think that's going to affect how the teams play?
I think it's going to be a big game. I do think it'll be a packed house because it's plenty of time for us to get everything taken care of and people can still get to the football game. I think we do well in that environment. We've been in a couple of instances where we've been in, I would consider, hostile environment. The fans are being loud and not so positive, and we just try to focus on doing our job and make them be quiet that way. So
yeah, and I'm going to assume, and I'm not going to, because we've probably got a bunch of Southwest people listening tonight, so we're not going to ask you too much about your game plan going in. But you said, play your game. What all is that going to look like? I mean, not without getting into the game plan.
Well, early in the season, we focused on how we need to stop the other team. So most of our game plan was, this is what we need to do to stop them. And then that wasn't working, so we decided as a coaching staff we were going to fix our scouting report.
Scout yourself.
What do we have to work on? And we've been working on what we're not good at, and things like 18 unforced errors, sending a free ball to not a good location to where they can run a quick, that now we're back on defense again, a faster tempo ball. I think our middles all the way around have grown tremendously, and so with a middle game, your pins open up more. I think we are serving tougher, which puts us on the offensive more than the defensive. So I think the biggest thing is we try to fix ourselves. We know what they're going to do. They're who they are. We are who we are, and it's whoever stops the other team,
So
basically.
You mentioned your middles. A couple of sophomores, I guess you're referring to, there in the middle that have really grown up through the course of the year.
Yeah.
That was evident last night. I thought they both played extremely well.
Absolutely.
As opposed to seeing them earlier in the season. They've really
Right.
come along.
Right. We've been fortunate that we have like 4 or 5 people that we can play anywhere. So if we need to switch and have a bigger right side block, we can just flip-flop them, and now they can do middle and right side, whereas in years past we haven't had enough athletes, let's say, who could do both.
Handle
So
the transition.
right. So
Yeah, well, that's looks good for the future too. Not
Yeah.
only Friday night and Tuesday night. Have you been able to look at MacArthur or Alamo Heights any?
yes, so we have the scouting report.
No, not Alamo
Highlands.
Heights. Highlands. I'm sorry.
It's Highlands.
Yeah.
It's Highlands.
Haley looked at me and was like, Alamo Heights.
Highlands is more like the teams in our district. High energy, balls off the net more. MacArthur is a bigger team, so they've got, some 6-foot-tall players. More of your polished volleyball, let's say, but don't play as good a defense as what we're used to. Because everybody in our district will play defense, whether it's with one arm or 2 arms. Like sometimes it feels like there's 12 people on the other side of the net. Like you're gonna, and we've gotten better at not getting our feelings hurt when we don't swing once and get a kill. Like I told them, you're gonna have to expect to swing 10 or 12 times before you put a ball down, and stop being a baby about it and just stay after it. So I think we've grown up in that respect. Also matured a little bit.
If there's one part of the game that you can single out and say, if we win this part of the game Friday, that will be the telltale of winning the match.
Our serve receive is what we focus the most on. When we serve receive at a 1.8 or higher, which means
I was going to ask you, what does that mean?
So 3.0 is a perfect pass. That means you can set anyone at the net on that pass. So if we're operating where we have 2 hitters off of a serve receive ball, meaning they have to decide, okay, are they going outside or are they going middle, then we're more in offensive mode rather than defensive mode. So serve receive is huge for us.
Yeah, and at the beginning of the year, and even middle of district, or beginning of district, service errors were huge.
Yeah.
And y'all have really cut down on that, I've noticed.
Yeah.
A lot more serves that are finding their way into the opponent's court. So that's a big improvement as well.
How is the health of the team?
We're good.
Good to go?
We're good.
Good.
So everything's looking positive moving into the Friday night match against the Southwest Lady Dragons. It will be a 5:30 first serve. We will, right now, Medina Valley Broadcast Network is planning on having that game. Dwayne and Matt both said they would travel over there. So we are looking at broadcasting that game live here on the MVBN2. So if you want to be able to catch that game and then head to the varsity football game, or if you're not going to be able to make either one, no, we've had a lot of listeners this year. Maury, tune in from all over the world. We've had some from all over the world watching football and volleyball games, so we appreciate everybody tuning in. We're happy to do it. So Coach Griggs, moving on from volleyball, I know you have a few things as the athletic director right now that you could tell us about what's going on with the Medina Valley athletic program. There's a lot of things have already come to a close.
Right.
But there's a lot of things that are picking back up again, and being basketball. Basketball's about to start. Soccer's about to start. I mean, it's almost like there is no slow time anymore, because with soccer starting and basketball, both teams will be going on, and then you get into spring when it's really busy,
Yeah.
So it's like you go from one to the other. Tell us a little bit about what all is going on at Medina Valley with the athletic program.
So cross country just finished on Tuesday. They were district champs across the board, all divisions. Went down to regionals. The girls, I'm gonna look that up. The girls placed 14th overall, and the boys placed 12th. So they didn't get anybody to qualify. They did say they ran well. Tennis finished like 2 weeks before that. They also made it to the area round where they were beat by Kerrville. And although, the way I understand it, they didn't win any sets, but they scored the most points that they've ever scored in that round, being like 60 as opposed to like 28 the year before. So
Progress.
it is progress. Boys basketball started today. Girls basketball was last week. Middle school, we're fixing to transition from cross country and volleyball and football, and now we're moving into soccer and basketball. So with the new district,
Soccer's going to come early in middle school.
well, the way it works now is girls are going to play soccer, boys are going to play basketball. And then in January, they're going to switch, and boys are going to play
helps
soccer.
with the gym usage.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's cool. Okay. That's interesting. And then, of course, then we move into spring sports, softball, baseball, track and field, individual tennis.
And swim is also underway. And, they got some good news. The Castrol pool was able to put in some heaters, and the gas lines are supposed to be hooked up for sure by the end of this week. So they actually have a place.
That's good.
That they
That's
can,
good news. Yeah,
yeah.
I saw something posted that they were going to have swim during the winter. And to me, it's not about getting into the water. It's about when you get out of the water. That's when it's cold. So, but that's good. That's
yeah,
good.
they've had to go to San Antonio. So it's limiting drive time.
Well, and now Southwest has an auditorium, I guess. So is that closer for them? Or is that an option for them to work out?
That is not an option.
It's not an option. Okay, so they're still going to go to Palo Alto or.
They're going to swim in the Castro
side?
pool unless we get in a bind, and then they usually have been going to SAISD downtown. Because Palo Alto, I don't think even does it anymore.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, cool. Well, anything else, Maury, for Coach Griggs? No. Well, thank you, Coach Griggs, and best of luck to you on your way to win number 600.
Yeah.
But you brought a couple of your young ladies here. Pass the mic on over, and go ahead and re-identify yourselves because you've both been here before, and we appreciate y'all coming again.
So I'm Haley Hurtado. I am a senior. I'm a 6 rotation outside hitter.
You know what that is, Maury?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I play all the way around and I hit on the outside.
Oh, that's with the 6 rotation.
Yes,
All
yes.
6 positions.
So I play back row as well.
Okay. All right. Well, welcome, Haley. Tell us a little bit about. I know last time we asked you where you were planning on going to school, and that's not. We're still not there, right? We're not even going to bring that up because right now we're still at Medina Valley, and we're worried about Medina Valley and what you're looking forward to. So tell us a little about some of your takeaways from this season and how you would like to see it end.
Yes. Okay.
Or continue,
So
I should say.
Yes.
this season I think has been the most enjoyable. I think I can say that confidently. Like the girls make it fun. Just the environment, everything. It's just so fun to be in. It's like exciting to like go to practice, go to games, spend time with my team. Unlike sometimes that it wasn't like that in the past.
Wait a minute. Didn't you play with your sister and?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
I didn't. No, not saying those teams were enjoyable. I just think these like us and like the group of girls that we have like our energy and our qualities in each other like very much complement each other. So we just get along very well, which is very positive.
Great chemistry.
Yes, as y'all said.
That was the word you were looking for.
Thank you. And I'm very excited to play on Friday, and I think that like it's just big games like that. It kind of makes it gives you like a good feeling in your stomach.
It's called adrenaline.
Yes, and that's just like the last time we played them. So like we all had something to prove, and I think that is the best feeling. Like
Still got that chip on your shoulder.
yes,
Right?
yes, because first round, we take that to heart personally, and then we want to continue on, and like Coach Griggs says, practice next Wednesday. That's our goal.
Absolutely, and that's a good goal to have. But that second match that y'all played over here at Medina Valley, wow, that was some of the most exciting volleyball I've seen in a long time. I mean, every match with I don't know what you call it, extra points. Y'all went like
Every
30,
set went
30, 28.
over.
Yes,
Yeah,
and we do that like
over.
consistently. It feels like we did it with South San, we did it with Harlandale, we did it with Southwest.
Yeah.
So we don't quit, and we're serious when we say that because we will play until cap or we just can't play anymore.
So there's no cap.
Oh, but there's no cap,
There's
so
no cap,
we
so
just
it could
keep
be
going.
50 to 48.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. Well, let's hope that we're always on the winning end. Of
Always.
those, and it's been a joy watching you in your
you.
career. I know that about 3 years ago we talked about. I told you, I was like, you could be pretty good. And remember, you were walking off the floor and we were talking. I was like, hey, you could be pretty good. Keep it up. And, that's not it. I mean, volleyball, of course, we want to play as long as we can in volleyball.
Definitely.
But you're pretty good in track and field, too, aren't you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Got a little state competition in your background that you could be looking forward to, and I'm sure you're looking forward to again. Tell us a little bit about that.
About track or like
track? What you do? Tell the audience. Wait a minute. Let me
Okay.
see. I think we have. Hold on. We have 13. No, we have 3 people watching right now.
Okay, well,
So
they
tell
can
those
hear
3
about
people.
track. So in the past, yes, I went to state my sophomore year. My freshman year got cut short, but that's okay. Sophomore year, I did go to state. Last year, I qualified to regionals, and I got kicked out the second day, the finals.
You didn't qualify.
I didn't qualify.
You didn't get kicked out.
Yeah, okay. I didn't qualify for state and regionals. And this year, it's still kind of on the fence. I think it depends on the whole volleyball route of things for me right now. But
You're a hurdler, right? And
yes, I do hurdle. I do hurdles. I also have done high jump. But I did high jump my sophomore year. But triple jump is what I did last year. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So you've got lot to look forward to, possibly.
Yes.
Of course, we want this volleyball
To go my way,
season
yes.
to last as long as possible, because we've loved watching you, and I know Coach Griggs has loved having you being, related. It's always a nice thing, for a coach to be able to coach her relatives, and it's also tough sometimes,
Yes.
But I think y'all have got a great relationship. Y'all have done a really nice job. Maury?
When you hear the other crowd getting on you, does that motivate you any?
Oh,
Do you get a little-
110%.
That little edge and say, okay, somebody's going to get a facial this next time?
Oh, yes. It definitely lights a fire in me, because even, like, when something negative is said, like, even towards my teammate, it's like, well, let's just prove them wrong. Like, let's just show them that we're not what they're saying. Or let's just, like she says, like, make them be quiet. Like, because we're 110% capable of doing so. So it definitely makes your blood boil in a good way.
I know you maybe cannot repeat it, but what is the worst thing anybody has said to you on the court?
Basically that we're bad, like, or like I don't really like.
I mean, what offends you the most to hear from the crowd or from somebody on the other side of the net?
That, like, I don't deserve to be on the court, or like I like take her out or something like that. Like, in any aspect of that, like, I want to just prove that I deserve to be where I am, and that's what does it.
Good.
Good.
Good answer. Well, thank you for coming out
Of course.
today, and the last 3 years, we've had you on several times, and loved having you here, Haley. Loved watching you.
Thank you.
And we really
Hope
look forward
we're
to
not
watching
done
you.
for a while.
Yep, watching you a
Yes.
few more times. Now, pass it on over here to the
Yes.
next.
To my-
Go ahead. Don't be bashful.
I'm Lexi Tedford. I'm a junior and a setter. And what else do I need to say?
I know what that is.
I know. I hope you know what a setter is,
And you
or is it a junior?
received a banner also, as
That's-
Haley did,
Yes.
for, what,
Last
1,000
dynamic duo right here.
assists?
That's what
Is
I
that
was just
what
going to
it's
mention.
called?
Haley got 1,000
An assist
kills,
is what you get
Yes.
when somebody... Okay.
and you just got your 1,000th
Yeah, I got it last night and she got it last Friday.
set. Well, congratulations.
So how many years have you... Were you on the varsity as a
Sophomore.
As a sophomore. Last year was my first year on
first
varsity.
year? Wow, and already 1,000 already? Wow.
Yeah. It's a good mark.
Oh,
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your season and what you've enjoyed about
I think
being around
it's-
this group.
Yeah, it's been a very good group. They just love to, like, keep, even, like, the little ones when they're struggling a little bit, we keep each other all involved and, like, engaged and just excite each other. Even if someone's, like, having a bad game, we don't let them get down on themselves. And it's just a good group to be around.
Yeah. Good group of senior leaders.
Right.
There's a bunch of seniors.
Yes.
How many seniors, Coach
I
Griggs?
think
There's 8.
Yeah.
8 seniors. Yeah.
And 7 underclassmen.
Yeah. So, but with that being said, half the team's coming back next year.
Right.
So it's a lot to look forward to in that regards. But I know both of you want to keep on playing. So tell us a little bit about your role coming up in the playoffs. What you do to your rotation. Tell us your rotation.
Yeah, I think we just need to keep doing what we've been doing. If we, like, something doesn't go our way, if we get blocked a couple times or don't get something up, then we just need to keep pushing through and do what we need to do.
I've often wondered this. I'm never sitting down on the floor, so I can't really hear y'all communicating. But do y'all, like, when you're setting, is there somebody away from the ball that will be hollering line or
Yes.
cross or
So-
something like that?
Either, like, most of the DSs will talk to the hitters and tell them, like, what's open.
That's
and
a
that kind of
defensive
stuff.
specialist.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
People in the back row do a very good job of telling
Yeah.
the hitters where to go.
Well, and I asked that because last night in the match I noticed that, Kara one time just tapped one over to the corner where there was
Right.
nobody there. And I hadn't seen that, a lot from her. And so I was like, I wonder if somebody told her nobody was there. I mean, a lot of it you can see visually,
Right.
but y'all do have calls and stuff
But yeah,
like that.
the back row players, they can kind of see the court a lot better than,
And when you're setting, Lexi, you always want to feed the hot hand,
right.
obviously. But do you position yourself sometimes for back? One thing I hadn't seen that little roll hit a lot. what is that called when y'all run around and
Oh, the slide.
the slide?
Yeah.
Yeah, that
yeah,
one.
we've done
yeah.
it once.
Well,
Yeah.
that's something you can keep in your back pocket. You know, maybe
practice
Southwest.
it.
hadn't-
Yeah, we
hadn't
try to
seen
do
a
it
lot of
on like free ball plays, so they haven't
Right.
given us many opportunities
Yes.
for that this year.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and when you're setting yourself up as a setter, you know, do you set yourself up for back sets and front sets? And I don't know exactly what.
Oh
it's
yeah,
all
I
called,
want to
but
get like just squared, so then I don't double.
yeah, that.
but I can go
and you know where
anywhere on
the net
the court.
is, and you know your proximity to everything, and
Right.
obviously the players. Last night I'd noticed also that you had some of those little short ones, 3. Is that what you called it? 3?
One
over the net?
or
No, to the middle. blocker.
either a one
A
or
one.
a three.
A 1 or a 3. Yeah, I thought I heard that last night. But so do you play any other sports? I know you play a lot of volleyball.
Yeah, no sir, I don't.
I
play
see your
any other
parents
sport.
on Facebook all the time. Always you're volleyballing it all the time, all over the country. Is that what you're going to do again in the off season?
I'm not playing club anymore, but that's what I used to.
You're not playing club this year.
No sir.
Okay, well, so you're going to play something else with the school then?
No.
Well, what are you going to do to stay active?
Privates.
Yeah.
Right,
Take
okay.
some time
Yeah.
off.
Take some time off and then get some lessons on
I'm
your
gonna go watch Haley run track.
Yeah. You know, my daughter was taking lessons when she was like going into 7th grade, and the lady that was giving lessons told me, she said, there's going to be some people there that are famous, you know. She said, but don't bother them. And so I go to this lesson, and I'm sitting there, and Tim Duncan walks in. And
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I've been
he's
to a
passing-
lesson with his
He's
daughter.
going out
Yeah.
shagging balls, so I thought, I'm going to go over there and stand
Oh,
next
yeah.
to him, shag balls. So I shag balls with Tim Duncan. That's my claim to fame now. I got the shag balls.
Yeah, there's
He
a
comes
picture.
to volleyball tournaments and stuff
Yeah.
too.
His daughter should be a senior.
Yes.
Is she a senior?
I
no,
think she's my age.
junior.
No.
She's a junior.
Yeah, she's y'all's age.
Yes, she's my
Because I
age.
played
she?
against her in club.
What's Annie? Annie's a sophomore. Yeah, she's either a junior or a senior.
I think
But
she's-
yeah. So, but to get you some private lessons and,
Yes, sir.
and do some like
So actually, if there's one part of your game that you can say, this is what I need to have stand out Friday, what to get the win, what would you say you need to do the best?
I need to focus on my defense and just be ready for everything.
And when you say defense, that's what Coach Grizz was talking about, the 3% or the
I don't serve
Or-
receive, but when they
receive though. I mean, but is that
When
what
they're
you?
hitting the ball, she's
Yeah.
passing.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
like that.
I'm still learning,
It's
Coach.
It's the light.
they like to hit
If
at
it's
me.
on offense, they're going to hit it our setter.
Right.
Because then if the setter takes the first ball, then,
Then
you
she
have
can't-
a
I can't set.
non-setter. So we work out a system a lot. Like we practice that because we know that's going to happen. And so it's just them keeping the ball alive where we can function with another DS feeding our front row the ball.
Okay, and I know this is from a couple of matches back, but can you explain to me what was called in the Harlandale match? Why we lost
No.
points?
Okay. Yes.
Because I still ain't figured. What I don't understand is
Well,
how can
what
it go
hap-
for so many points and not be called after the first
Yeah.
one?
Well, okay, so here's what happened. I did not libero switch correctly. So whoever the libero goes in for has to come out for the libero, period. And so when we were doing that, I guess in my mind, because I was already mad because they were terrible, I thought I could just libero switch my other people, like a front row for a front row, which you can do that, but they've already been established in the game. So when they figured it out, Danielle, I think, who was serving, had already served like 4 points. And so,
it was the same server.
Yeah.
yeah, so if you do mess up on a rotation and they don't catch it they catch it like they did, they take all the points away.
It's a correctable mistake, I guess.
But if they would have sided out and they would have served and then they caught it, then it's too late.
Too late.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So they were right.
And so
on that call.
their coach caught that, I assume. Who knows?
Yeah.
No, I mean,
Allegedly.
I guess the side referee could catch it too because he's looking at his card.
No, because they don't do libero switches.
Yeah.
It has to be to the table.
We had a tough game that whole time with the refs, so it was just one more
Yeah.
thing. And we weren't
I'd
playing the
say-
best.
Well, you got to
either, so-
explain to the listening audience where we're talking about you were playing at.
We were playing at Harlandale,
Oh, exactly.
which that environment's tough to play in
That's-
general,
that's-
but
We call the Honey Bowl in
Uvalde.
Uvalde the Twilight Zone. We call Harlandale the Bermuda Triangle because
Yeah.
All bets are off
Never
when you go
fails.
there
Strange
in their
things
gym
happen.
for basketball, volleyball, anything.
Right.
It's all bets
But
are
it
off.
was, like Coach Griggs says. I mean, it was a mistake, and they caught it, and
And
however they caught it.
us as a team, we definitely could have done better that game. I think we can all say too. So it wasn't just that
think
one
that-
call
Well,
or
yeah.
the calls that the ref made.
Yeah, you
But,
can't just blame it on
right.
I-
The
I was
team
gonna-
definitely could have been better.
I was going to use an analogy here. Coach Griggs says it's the way she was explaining it. It's kind of like batting out of order in baseball and softball. If you bat out of order and you don't catch it, you just proceed and they can plug somebody else in.
Right.
But if they catch it right after the batter happens and before the next batter, it's an out and you.
But there's
have
a
to
lot
correct
of rules in volleyball that somebody like me that even watches it still don't understand.
Right.
Well, last night there was one that I had to get on my phone and look back. It was like because your grandmother was looking and she was like, what is going on? And I had to look back. Well, the line judge did not call the tip.
No,
Oh,
he did
yeah,
call the
he did
tip.
No,
call it
the head guy, the head
Yes.
referee called tip.
Oh,
And so
it was
that's why
vice
we were
versa.
like, what happened? Because
No, 'cause
it
our
should have
went
been our
one.
ball.
It should have
but
been
Yeah,
there
it was,
6 to
it
1.
was
and
whenever
went
they
5-2.
called the ball out and he said it was with the tip, but
Yes.
it wasn't with the tip. So it
Right,
was just,
and that's where I
Yeah.
looked back and I could see the
Right.
the head referee. He was doing this. And I was like, oh, that's what happened. He called the tip. So.
those are frustrating.
All right, well, we're gonna let you ladies get on out of here. Y'all have had a long day of practice and school. We appreciate it. We wish y'all the best of luck Friday and next Tuesday.
And
Thank
thank you all for
you.
being
So
great
thank you
sports
for
all
being
See
year.
y'all then.
And good luck to you. And we're going to go ahead and take a commercial break while we get set up for the guys to come on here. We're going to run a few commercials. We'll be back with Coach Gomez and football players. We'll be back right after this message from our sponsor.
Sammy's Restaurant and Havy's Alsatian Bakery, two legendary landmarks in Castroville. From breakfast to delicious hometown lunch specials and more, Sammy's satisfies your taste buds with the unique flavor of Castroville. And from fresh baked breads to pies and pastries, South Texans have made Havy's Alsatian Bakery a must to visit since 1940. Sammy's Restaurant, online at sammysrestaurant.com. Havy's Alsatian Bakery, online at havysbakery.com.
Texas, 268,000 square miles and then some. Twice as much elbow room as California. There's just no place like Texas. And you can take that to the bank. Texan Bank, poised and ready for a future that's wide open. Member FDIC.
Peerless Equipment, your South Texas irrigation experts. Peerless Equipment specializes in sales and service of irrigation equipment to the agricultural and wildlife industries. This includes hose reels, big guns, pivot systems, underground pipelines, turbine well pumps, booster pumps, motors, valves, and an inventory of much more. Stop by one of their locations in Hondo and Pearsall or give them a call at 210-434-7867. Peerless Equipment, bringing water to you.
Are you ready for a vacation? Tanya with Travel by Design can help you with all your vacation destination needs. At no cost to you, she can plan all of the details tailored to your unique wants and needs. So all you have to do is enjoy your vacation. Tanya is a certified expert with Disney, Universal Orlando, and California, Sandals, and all cruise lines. Give Tanya a call at 830-931-4834 or visit her Facebook page, Tanya with Travel by Design, for all the latest specials and must-do vacations.
Tondre Gwynn Funeral Home in Castroville, Texas, has been providing funeral services to families in the Medina Valley and surrounding areas for many generations. Tondre Gwynn Funeral Home is proud to support the broadcast by the Medina Valley Broadcast Network for the athletes and students participating in this event. Go Panthers! Tondre Gwynn Funeral Home, Castroville, Texas. You may view obituaries at Tondre, Tondre-Gwynn, Guinn.com, or visit the Facebook page of Tondre Gwynn Funeral Home to view funeral notices.
All right, welcome back to the Medina Valley Broadcast Network Sports for Supper, live from Sammy's Restaurant. We want to thank Ann Duran and Sammy's Restaurant for always coming and always hosting everything we do here, and they feed the kids some nachos. Did y'all get you? Oh, yeah, y'all devoured your nachos. The girls had a few, too. Drinks and nachos here for Sammy's, and once again, I'd like to thank all of our advertisers, Texan Bank, Peerless Equipment, Travel by Design, and Tundra Gwynn Funeral Home. But now we're going to move on to football. After a bye week, we have Coach Arnold Gomez. And Coach Gomez, let me see, you are the tight end, running back, and wide receivers coach. Pretty good group right now.
Absolutely.
Especially at the running back position that you got going on with a couple of good running backs back there in the backfield. But we also have a couple of players here, Matt Newton and Mario Jarabillo. So we'll get a chance to talk to both of them. Coach Sanchez had some family stuff to take care of this evening. But bye week, did we win bye week?
We always beat bye. I think bye's got the worst record
dude,
out
I was
there.
at Hondo one year, and we lost to bye. We lost. We were 3-7, I think, that year, the worst year that we'd had. But yeah, no, it's always good to come out of bye week. You get everybody healthy. You get some kinks worked out. You're able to work on individual stuff. Tell us a little bit about going in, because you are going into bye week after a loss. Tell us a little bit
I mean
about
the harder part is just keeping the players motivated. It's hard. It can be easy just to fall on yourself and say, we took a loss, we have a week kind of to get over it, versus back to work on Monday and get going again. But we also took it to where we could heal the guys up with the last two games, what they mean to us, but it allowed us to reset, get back to the fundamentals, get back to the base of what we know, maybe work on some things that we hadn't perfected yet. So we were able to get back to doing those things.
Yeah, one thing we used to do was we'd scout ourselves. We'd have the middle school coaches put together a scouting report, kind of watch us over the last 3 or 4 games, put a scouting report together and say, hey, do we have any tendencies? What are our tendencies? What are we doing here? What are we doing there? Do y'all do something like that as well?
Coach Medley's really good about, and putting all our tendencies together offensively. With Huddle now, you don't have to do a lot.
Isn't it nice?
It's pretty, you can click a few buttons and you have everything there at the palm of your hands. But Coach Medley's, on top of those things all the time. So he'll have our tendencies, Saturday morning when we show up, ready to game plan for the next week. And he had it, sure enough, ready for us to go on Monday morning. We didn't really give the freshmen an off week. Obviously, with the amount of time that they need and to get them going. But so we kind of got to work through that with them. So it was almost not a bye week for the coaches in that sense, but having the tendencies going through all that is really good, just because you can work different formations, different motions, different things to counteract what you're doing.
Yeah, because y'all been real set in one formation. You put Mr. Newton, you kind of offset him as a halfback, and then you go twins open with one back, kind of stuff. A couple weeks ago when I was calling the game in Eagle Pass, I just called it the Panther set because y'all were in it every time, and it was a lot easier saying that than saying offset right, twins right, motion left, and it just got confused. So I just said Panther set. So, but that is one of y'all's primary formations.
That is one of our primary formations, just because of the personnel it allows us to put on. Obviously, we had got banged up, maybe lost injuries in game that just kind of force you to go to one thing. And then as you adjust to it is, what tendencies do you have going which ways, and can we set people different sides to counteract it? And I think we've done a good job with that, even though it may seem we're like in the same formation, we're able to do multiple things out of it.
Yep, and that's, go back to the Southside game. Southside ran about 15 different formations and ran 2 plays, out of all their formations. I mean, that's what you want to be able to do. You want to be able to formation people to death and still be able to execute the 1 or 2 plays that you run.
Oh, yeah.
And when you have a running back, like y'all have right now, the 2-headed running back sometimes, hard running, and sometimes he's able to make his own holes, but it's good to be able to be simple. I know you don't coach defense, but on the defensive side of the ball, you don't want to have to blitz. You don't want to have to run stunts. You don't want to have to do stuff like that. You want to stay simple with your front. Same thing goes for offense.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And, Anthony's special, but that's, I have the fullbacks. Coach Vargas does running back, so That's more his
okay.
his
Well,
forte.
fullback and
Yeah.
Newton and
Yeah,
what's the
Newton.
other boy's name? The
Stuman.
other halfback?
Stupid.
Yeah, Stubby.
And
yeah,
they
do a good job.
They
being
do a
lead
good job
blockers.
of lead blocking up in the hole, and Anthony doesn't need much space, but the big boys up front give him a good push, and they get the hole open, and Matthew and Stuman will fill in and
And
take
when
out what
you're-
they need to.
Tight ends have been called upon. They have made some huge catches
Plays, yeah,
in
we
the
had
last few games that have
Yeah.
been.
Yep.
Yeah, Ruben's been
Game
pretty
breakers.
good coming out of the, we called that, it was a pretty crucial time in the game, before it kind of got away, but with Southwest got that tight end pass in there, and it was a big play for us, and it's been something we've been practicing for all season pretty much. It's just,
Yeah.
just
Well, we're not
right
gonna
time,
talk
right
much
place.
about that game.
Yeah.
We're gonna look at the positives and move forward to the next game. Next game.
What challenges does South
South
San?
San.
So South San, we actually got to go scout them last week. The good thing about it was we got to see that they're actually faster, than they appear on film. So that's always a good thing to see. Is who do they really try to key on? And I think we've got a good game plan for that as far as defensive side, what we're gonna do. But they got a good receiver that's pretty fast, and if we can, tame him, I think we'll be all right.
They more one-sided than the other run pass, or is it split down
I think
the
it's
middle?
split. I mean, they'll take their chances. It looks like, but overall, they try to run it, get the running game going, and if it doesn't, then they'll try to sneak in a pass. But they'll try to draw you up, and then try to beat you deep.
What's their size like on their offensive and defensive lines?
I think they're maybe about a little smaller than Southwest. I mean, it's hard to compare it to our line. We got pretty big boys
Oh,
up front.
absolutely.
But I think overall size-wise, on the offensive side, we'll be bigger than them defensively. But defensively, they got some, bigger boys, but nothing that we can't handle.
Good.
All right, so I'm going to throw out my little scouting report on you here. Coach Gilmez is a DeHennis grad. But this also says that you were in the armed forces and that a lot of the stuff that you learned from the armed forces you kind of bring to the coaching staff. Tell us a little bit about how you transitioned from what line? What were you?
I was Army. I was in the infantry.
Tell us a
line.
little bit about how that transitions to public school and coaching these young fellas.
As you go through the military, you get to be put in leadership positions. Fortunately for me, I was able to advance pretty quick, especially on the infantry. So we're frontline guys. But I think the biggest thing I had is I used to have a leader that yelled constantly, and I could see like kids, 18. I was 21 by the time close to 22 whenever I got to my unit. So I was a little older than some of the 17, 18-year-old kids that were coming in. So I got to see that, at times they would shut down. You'd get nothing out of them, no matter how much you did with them, no matter what you did, they just shut down. But then it came down to, my leadership, and whenever I got in a position, I was, you start thinking, what are you going to be? What are you going to do? How are you going to do it? And obviously it's, lead from the front. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to show you how to do it from the front. I'm going to position myself. I think Newton tell you that I've put my hands under his pads a few times just to show him what it feels like. You put the pads underneath somebody's throat. Doesn't feel very good. Y'all played. But
I got some other tricks I'll show you after this.
But I think just approaching it as, talking to them, talking to anybody, you always want to be talked to right. And I think that's the best leadership quality I may bring is they'll tell you I'm not a big yeller. I mean, if I get frustrated at something, I may yell, but it's not necessarily directed at them. It's just in the moment. But I think every moment is, a coaching moment. Matthew will tell you I come to him a lot saying, hey, if he's coming in this way, turn your body, and let's see how that works and kind of feed off each other. But let them talk as well because, your answer may not be good because you're not the one playing. They have a lot of feedback. And that's how I do it in the Army, too, is, my lowest private would have something to say, but sometimes we didn't take into account what they were actually saying. And I think I did that a little better than some people did, so that's kind of where I bring it this way, too.
You relate more.
Mm-hmm.
To
I relate more
what their
one-on-one.
feelings are and what they're experiencing also.
Mm-hmm.
So how long have you been coaching?
Coaching, I mean, off and on at the high school level, just 2 years. I was at Sabinal, coached there, coached football, junior high basketball, junior high football. I mean, everything, small school, which wasn't necessarily different to me growing up in D'Hanis. And then coming to Medina Valley and big school, you know, I didn't even know. I think over 2 hours we'd take charter buses, and that was unheard of. And then going to baseball after. So.
Did you go to school with Zach Valenzuela?
Was that?
Zach Valenzuela.
No, he's a few years younger than me, I believe. Yeah.
Right. We have him over in Divine.
Yeah.
Coaching for us over there. So there was something you said that I was going to hit on. It was about the experience you brought. So you've been coaching varsity for 2 years. And your playing experience was at D'Hanis.
Yes, sir.
So how do you find that it relates the game of football? How does the game of football relate from D'Hanis 1A to, you know, you're at the top of 5A right now?
Yeah, I mean, the game's a lot, I guess, more cited to, you know, what you're going to coach. You know, at small school, you play everything. You don't really get into the fundamentals of everything because you don't have the time to do it.
Right.
Versus here, you get to fundamentals. You get to do a lot more one-on-one work, which I think is crucial to anything. So I think just having that ability to, like, hey, you have 2 hours to work offense and figure it out versus 1 hour here, 1 hour there, and then you're kind of going. You don't have the individual time to really work on footwork, work on, you know, the smaller things where your hand placement should be. So I think that's the biggest thing. And then obviously size and speed. You know, you do have some of the guys that in small schools that could play 5A, but you don't have it as a whole.
Right.
You have the 1 and 2 guys that can do it, and then after that you're kind of putting guys in a position to hopefully get you in the right place. Versus here, you know, you got a good pick of the litter.
Yeah, it's tough, especially, you know, the bigger, the better that your schools are. It's picking what side of the ball this kid's going to be able to play
on.
Yeah.
and benefit the team by not taking away from the other side.
And that's hard too, because you know, you kind of think of it as well, I did it, you know, or other people have gone both ways. How can we not? But then it goes down to specializing. You know, every other team is specializing. So if you're not doing it with them, they're going to get better than you at some point. So I think that's where that happens.
Yeah, I'll tend to agree to disagree on that one. I've seen some pretty darn good teams that go both ways at the 5A and 6A level. And matter of fact, we played one here a couple of weeks. Southside had a lot of kids that went. Wasn't it Southside? That
Yeah, they did. And
yeah, they had a
you
lot
know,
of
and I
kids
think
going
that's
both
just
ways.
you know, that's numbers, and you get put to a point, you know, where you have to do it. And
Yeah, so and it's to each their own. It's a coaching decision, and we completely understand that. You know, this community is growing, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't very long ago we were 3A, and everybody played, never came off the field. I mean, so you know, there's still adjustment for the whole community to get into that frame of mind.
yeah, and it's hard. It's hard on the coaching side too. Is like, you know, you used to go where you'd go coach corner, like I did, quarterbacks and cornerbacks, and it's like, all right, forget about it. Let's go to the cornerbacks, and my quarterback went to defensive end.
Yeah.
It's like,
Oh, yeah.
what goes on here?
Yeah. One of the best teams I ever saw going both ways at the 6A level was Clark. They had that Hayden Greenbauer that went and played quarterback for SMU. He'd play quarterback, then he'd play free safety. He never came off the field
It's
for
like
3 years.
Like Ty Summers, you know, that Gary Patterson recruited. He
Yeah.
was a
Yeah.
quarterback in high school, and he said, "You're going to
gonna
play
be a
linebacker,"
Yeah, well,
and it worked out for him.
You know what? Gary Patterson did a lot of that.
Yeah.
When he was head coach at TCU, he'd take somebody just because they were an athlete, and he'd make them a linebacker. You know, and you'd think, wait a minute, that guy played wide receiver. You know,
Yeah.
you're going to make him a linebacker now, and he'd be a all-conference linebacker. So yeah, a lot of it has to do with coaching. Maury, anything else for Coach Gomez? We're right on time, so we're going to go ahead and move on and talk to these fellas you brought, Coach.
Thank you, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having us.
First, we're going to have Mr. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us your grade and
Yeah,
all
because
that good stuff.
I don't want to get in trouble by pronouncing your name. I pronounce it one way, the next.
It's
and
not Jeremio.
Jaramillo, right?
Jaramillo.
The J is silent, or
It's like an H.
it's like an H.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So, my name's Mario Jaramillo. I'm a senior. Been in varsity for 2 years now, and thank you for inviting me out.
No problem.
Well, let's get this straight. We don't invite you, okay? The coaches select who comes out here. Man, how many times have we gotten yelled at by parents because, well, how come you never invite my kids? Now, wait a minute, we don't do that, okay? It's just, usually coaches in the past, they've asked for volunteers. Remember last year, they probably asked for volunteers. Have any volunteers to go? Get you some nachos and a drink. But, hey, glad you're here. Thanks for coming out. So you are a second-year linebacker.
First-year linebacker.
First-year linebacker.
Yes, sir.
And what number are you?
55.
55. Didn't you had a fumble recovery here last week or the week before last, didn't you? Or a caused fumble? You had a big play.
I had a sack, not a fumble.
Okay. I knew there was something. I don't get to call all the games. Amari and Jared do most of that. I'm always writing stuff and making notes. But second year or first year linebacker. What'd you play last year?
I was D-line last year.
D-line.
Yes, sir.
Which is more challenging?
Definitely linebacker, because even though, it's hard in the trenches and all, but I'm not the thinking kind of guy.
Well, let me tell you one thing. As I know a little bit about playing linebacker. If you think at linebacker, you're beat. It's got to be instinct. And the one bit of advice that I got years ago, don't wait for them to hit you. You go hit them. If you wait, you're going to get blocked. You know what I mean? So don't wait. You go hit them before you want to get hit. So.
Yes, sir. I've experienced that firsthand in practice many times. starting to lose that habit.
Especially with our offensive line. They're pretty good size also.
Yeah, I mean, linebacker, you're always going to be smaller than the guys coming to block you. So you want to go stick your helmet in their chin first before they have an opportunity to roll up and hit you. But, you've been doing a good job this year, man. The defense is looking strong. Had a little setback last week, but, Southwest has been doing that for 20 years. They've been running the ball like that. So, I mean, they're good at what they do. But looking forward to South San. What do you see from them offensively? I know you've been able to watch some video.
So, like Coach Gomez said before, they have some key players, especially number 8, the wide receiver. He's, I think, the biggest threat they have right now. So, back, like skill coverage, we've been working on that a lot. Helps a lot with the bye week, get everyone healthy, rested. Just a whole lot of practicing, training, make sure everyone's all ready.
Yeah. So number 8, does he run any crossing routes?
He runs mostly fades.
Mostly fades.
Yes, sir.
So you won't be able to introduce yourself to him?
Not personally, no.
Tell him he better not come across the middle, because if he comes across the middle, you're going to put a helmet in his chest, right?
Yes, sir.
But what we've noticed the last few games is, it's gotten better as the years progressed, is the defensive line is keeping you linebackers clean,
free to run,
and what is it like to just light somebody up?
I gotta say, it's the best feeling in the world.
Yeah, absolutely, it is. Feels a lot better than getting lit up.
Oh, without a doubt.
Darn sure. Ain't that right, Newton?
Yes, sir.
So what are you keying on when you're the linebacker? What are you looking for on the other side of the ball to determine where you're going? Are you always lined up on the inside or outside, or do you rotate at all? Or?
We have certain formation where we will rotate, but mostly inside. You have to watch the big guys. If they're pulling, that's where you go. You have to watch where holes open up, close. It's based off, like he said earlier, instinct.
And your brother's on the JV, correct?
He's on the freshman team.
The freshman team.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I was going to say, there's no way when we make the playoffs that they move him up and y'all will be put together on the same side of the ball. No.
Not as built as this guy.
Well, I know, but But does he look up to you as far as leadership? I mean, is he the younger brother that comes to you and says, "Okay, what do I need to do?"
So, actually, yes, there will be times where he'll come up asking for advice. Like just the other week, he's asking, "Hey, how do I do this in the weight room? I want to get my maxes up. I want to at least be somewhat built compared to him looking like Bruce Lee right now."
Well, but I mean, he's young.
Yeah, he's still growing. He's 14 right now. I say when he hits 15, 16, that's when it's going to hit him real hard, puberty, and then hopefully grow a few more inches.
14 is before that. I know he got some growing to do, but the biggest thing is weight room and diet.
Yes, sir.
A lot of protein in the system. Eat.
So who did you look up to as far as your leadership when you were a freshman and sophomore? Was there a certain player that you looked up that said, "Hey, I want to package my game, or I want my game to be like this?
So, I actually transferred here freshman year from a different school, upstate in Minot, North Dakota. So, came here, first time playing football on the high school level was sophomore year. And I remember watching Seth Bullard, Joe Tarvin, and Ty Meir. Those guys.
They were beasts.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, 2 of those 3 are in college now. Yeah,
I
don't know
remember-
if Tymir is, but I know the other 2 are.
Yeah.
I remember watching them every day after practice, trying to be like them. And even during the off season, I tried
Extra
lifting.
work.
Yes, sir. Tried lifting with them. It didn't end up too well for me, but
So you never played football until
I
you came
played.
down here?
I played it twice: Pee Wee football and 7th grade football. That's it.
And what changed your mind when you got down to Texas that said that, you know what, I like this game?
So we all know, Texas is huge in football.
Football's king.
Yes, sir. Everyone's proud of it. So I thought, you know what, I'm getting bored at the house. Got to do something.
Yep, you were in Minot,
Minot.
North Dakota. Is that close to Fargo?
Actually, it's about maybe 2.5 hours away.
So you know the Fargo Dome.
Yes, sir.
I played in the Fargo Dome. That's nice. Nice place, man. You ever been there?
I've been close to it. I never
Close
played
to it?
inside. It's
It's
beautiful.
like all flat land, and then all of a sudden there's a huge dome stadium out in the middle of nowhere.
And wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really neat.
Well, South Dakota and South Dakota State have some pretty good football teams.
North Dakota does too.
Yeah.
North Dakota's the one. North Dakota and North Dakota State, all up in there. But there's only 4 universities like in those 2 states, so all the football players got to go somewhere, right?
So do you?
That's a joke, everybody. I know there's more than.
So
just
do you
that.
do any other sports?
So I'm actually a part of powerlifting and ROTC. So we do sports in quotations for ROTC.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a part of the Raider, so that's like obstacle courses, going through not barbed wire, but ropes, climbing walls, running 5Ks, general stuff to keep you in shape. And thinking about doing track this year.
Cool.
And
Shot
y'all-
disc or running or
I could possibly do a 400.
yeah.
For my size, I'm actually
Well,
Somewhat
400
fast.
400 is the one I always heard that's the race. Put hair in the chest. That's a
Yes,
man's
it is.
race. Yeah.
So in the ROTC, do y'all compete against other schools doing that obstacle course
yes,
stuff?
sir. Last time I went, there's I believe 37 other schools there.
Wow.
Cool.
It gets pretty competitive. Just last week, actually, we had a competition here at the school. 14 different schools showed up from all around Texas, including Laredo, Eagle Pass.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So is it a timed event, or how is the judging? How does
So-
it work?
Most of them is based off of time, like how fast you can climb the rope, how fast you run the 5K, how fast you can build a rope bridge, all that.
Wow. That takes pretty good stamina. I wouldn't want to do it. I couldn't do it. But
Maybe 10 years ago.
no, not even then. So what if we always ask predictions, tackle for losses, fumble recovery, scoop or score. Can you make a prediction with
So I will say, our starting defense right now, I'll say about 5 tackle for losses. Because I know Nicholas Binky, he does a good job on the line. Matt Santos, beast at linebacker. Just all
he
around-
don't show much emotions, does he?
Yeah.
He gets pretty excited out there. He's fun to watch.
Very much either.
Oh no, really? No, I know.
He's a fun boy.
He's the leader on the other side of the ball. So who makes the calls on defense when you're out there? Do you make any of the calls from the sidelines, or who is the one that makes the defensive calls?
So we'll get calls from the sideline, but it's mostly the linebackers, such as Matt or Keller. They'll see what's happening, what's on formation, and we'll know, A, shoot B gap, shoot A, tell everyone, just blitz that way, everything.
Good.
All right. Well, thank you for coming. We're gonna move on over here to the next young man.
Jaramillo. I
And
got
we,
it down now.
Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Alright.
Jaramillo.
Had to be.
Jaramillo. Right.
My name's Matthew Newton, and then I play fullback, and then I'm a senior, and then it's my second year on varsity.
I can't believe they still call that position fullback. H-back.
halfback,
That's what,
yeah.
In the new offensive system, the new terms, back in the old days, that was fullback. Nowadays everyone was
Yeah,
called
well,
the
there used to
H-back.
be a middle linebacker and outside linebacker. Now there's a Mike backer. There's a
Willie and a Sam and yeah.
I don't
Oh,
understand
yeah.
what all that
Yeah,
means. To me, if you're in the middle, you're the middle linebacker.
Yeah. They don't run that kind of defense though. And that's why it's different. Middle linebacker could be anywhere from guard to guard, and nowadays, I've heard them recruiting wide receivers to play middle linebacker in college because they got to be able to run sideline to sideline, not tackle to tackle like it used to be. So but Mr. Newton, this is about you, man. Tell us a little bit about what you're responsible for on offense.
So I block for like the running backs, quarterbacks, and then I also run some routes. I get some routes and.
Oh, do you? Have you caught a pass this year?
No, not yet.
Yet.
I'm
Not
waiting.
yet.
I'm waiting. I'm waiting.
He's waiting. Well, so you've done a great job. You and I can't even remember. Stubby. Stubby? What's his name? Stuman.
I just said that.
I can't hear you in these things. Aggravating. Anyway, so y'all do a good job opening up the holes, obviously, for
Yes, sir.
the two-headed running back system back there. I know I call it two-headed. That's because we saw Guerrero. Obviously, we've seen him run all year. The last 2 years, he's done a really fine job. But we had the other young man, Antoine Pierce, that saw some action back there as well. I think he missed the last game, but I don't know if he's coming back. We're not even going to mention anything about that.
But we also have seen the young quarterback run right off of his hip
quarterback
to score his first touchdown of the year.
Right,
also,
yeah. So it's a good mix-up. You got 3 or 4 guys back there in the backfield that could carry the ball.
Yes,
Have you
sir.
carried the ball much this year?
In the beginning of the year, I did, and then we kind of changed the formations. Like we went under center in the beginning of the year, and now we're kind of in shotgun.
Yeah.
So what is your favorite play to run? If it's fourth quarter, we got a minute left, we're on the 5-yard line getting ready to score the winning touchdown, what would you want the call to be from the sidelines?
I just like to go pop those linebackers, So like it would be like ISO, diesel, stuff like that.
Do you like in practice when you're looking across and y'all are going ones, do you look over at Jaramillo and tell him, hey, I'm coming?
Oh yeah.
They buckle it up, here I come.
For sure.
Yeah, all right.
Tell
him that in the game too. Tell that guy you're coming to get him.
But I know we've said a lot of times, when you get on the goal line, I'll look at Jarrett and I'll say, just run the ball behind Newton, just run right by, just go right off of his hip, and it works. I mean, it's like but when you are out there, what are you keying on the other side of the ball? Or is your job to pick up the linebacker, or is your job to double team?
It just
one
depends
of
on
the
the
tackles or the.
It just depends on the formation. Like there's plays where I'll have like the DN. I'll even have like the outside linebacker, middle linebacker. Yeah. It just depends.
Depends on the formation and
Yes,
what they're
sir.
showing you across, and you've got your different keys. And obviously, each week it could change.
It changes.
What kind of defense does South San run?
I seen like 3-4 most of the time. The film I watched was a 3-4.
4-man front.
Or yeah. No.
They'll go 3-4.
They go
4 stack.
Okay.
Gone 5-2
They'll walk
little
a
bit.
guy
They've done a
down.
lot
They're
of
pretty
good
multiple,
things.
which nowadays, man, I don't know if I'd want to be an offensive line coach because defenses are so multiple nowadays with, how they're going to formation you. They can always walk somebody up to give you a different look, put guys in the box, take guys out of the box if you're throwing. I mean, it's just so multiple. And, that, to me, watching the game now, and I know you're involved in this some, is the what is that called?
RPO.
RPO. I mean, my gosh, that's got to be a hard one to defend. I mean, you're putting everything on that quarterback. Y'all do run some RPO.
We do.
And it's a great thing if it's run right. If you got a quarterback that can do it, and y'all's quarterback has done a good job of filling in this year. Right now, stepped up. With the injury to not only one but your brother
My
as
brother,
well.
yes.
How's your brother doing?
He's doing good. He faces challenged every day, but he's keeping his head up and taking it day by day.
Yeah.
You know.
I know it was neat for your mom and dad to have both of y'all playing on the same team.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. You know, I enjoyed it. The time we had was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now he's just getting ready for baseball.
Getting ready for baseball.
But you go in motion sometimes too, don't you? Switch from
do.
one. What determines that? Or, I mean, is that called from the start, or does the quarterback get to change that if he looks across and sees something, or is that something that's preset when you get out there?
It's preset. So like on ISO, they add it where I can choose. So like ISO right, I can line up on this side, or I can go on the left side and then go across. So it just depends like what I want to do.
Good.
Yeah, I would say that like zip motion or zap motion or something like that. So tell us a little bit more about last year. You played running back as well, didn't you?
I did, and then I had like tight end. I was doing tight end.
Tight end some as well. Other sports you play?
I played baseball, and then I was considering doing track, like throwing discs or something.
Okay.
Have you done any field events before?
In middle school, 7th and 8th grade, I disc. I did pretty good. Tried again this year.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't ask Mr. Jaramillo. No, I'm just going to keep calling him Jaramillo because I like saying it now. But college, where are you looking at for college?
So I haven't really made a final decision, but I'm thinking more like criminal justice, like Border Patrol.
Ah, cool.
And then probably either Corpus, A&M, or Texas Tech, one of them.
Wreck 'em. What about you, Jaramillo? What are you looking at for post high school?
So for post high school, actually, I've been thinking about joining the armed forces as well.
Not a bad choice there either. Go represent your country.
Yes, sir. Armed forces or trade school, actually.
Yeah. Any branch in particular?
Right now, I'm looking at the Air Force, primarily because coming from an Air Force family, I know basically most of the ins and outs, what to do, how to apply, and all that.
Oh, that's cool. That'd be great.
Can you fit inside a cockpit being that big?
They do have pretty big cockpits, I will say that. If you go to air shows, they'll let you go inside all the planes, see how that's all. I will say, though, I cannot fit in an F-15.
Well,
I'll take your word for it. I'll take
so
your word for it.
So down the line, we're going to be able to call you Maverick or what?
There's a chance.
There's a chance.
There's a will, there's a way.
Well, I can tell you one thing. I respect everybody, and you especially that served. Hey, I got your back 100% because one of my cousins, he fought in Desert Storm. He was in the Marines, and I still have they sold a trading cards of everybody that served in Desert Storms, and I have the pack of trading cards that he's was in. So that is.
Which cousin was that?
Mark Sherhart.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't know that.
Yep. So I respect everybody that serves 100%.
I like that tradition we have too with the
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
They started
yes.
that a few years ago. His brother's the announcer there, and they love to recognize the armed forces and stuff. That's they can do a good job.
Absolutely.
Yeah, appreciate that. So getting back to Mr. Newton over here, looking forward to playing a few more weeks. Obviously, we want to take care of South Sand, but looking forward, and I know Coach is sitting over here and may have somebody listening and stuff, but looking ahead. What do you see? You see playoffs in our future?
We plan on going to the playoffs, and
going to the playoffs.
I think we're capable of doing that for sure.
Yeah, and I'm going to challenge you guys. I think it's been 19 years since we've won a playoff game. I'm going to challenge y'all.
Yes, sir.
Lead us to it.
Absolutely.
And I think that's
Lead
what
the group.
That's what gives us drive. It's like we know how long it's been since someone won a playoff game.
Yep.
And us as a group, we're like, okay, let's be the team. Let's do it.
That's I'm challenging you. Be that group.
Absolutely.
We'd love to see it, and that'd be a great, I wouldn't say end to the career, or it's just a great continuation, good stepping stone for the younger guys and for the coaching staff and everybody associated with Medina Valley football.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Mr. Newton. Thank you,
sir.
Mr. Jaramillo, Coach Gomez. Maury, you got anything else for these gentlemen?
Just kick some ass.
Yeah. Yes, sir. We're actually over time, man. We've had a good show tonight.
Wonderful show.
Thank y'all very much. We're going to go ahead and take a commercial break. Appreciate everybody coming in. We'll be back after a word from our advertisers.
Sammy's Restaurant and Habeas Alsatian Bakery, two legendary landmarks in Castroville. From breakfast to delicious hometown lunch specials and more, Sammy's satisfies your taste buds with the unique flavor of Castroville. And from fresh baked breads to pies and pastries, South Texans have made Habeas Alsatian Bakery a must-to-visit since 1940. Sammy's Restaurant, online at sammysrestaurant.com. Habeas Alsatian Bakery, online at habeasbakery.com.
Texas, 268,000 square miles and then some. Twice as much elbow room as California. There's just no place like Texas. And you can take that to the bank. Texan Bank, poised and ready for a future that's wide open. Member FDIC.
Peerless Equipment, your South Texas irrigation experts. Peerless Equipment specializes in sales and service of irrigation equipment to the agricultural and wildlife industries. This includes hose reels, big guns, pivot systems, underground pipelines, turbine well pumps, booster pumps, motors, valves, and an inventory of much more. Stop by one of their locations in Hondo and Pearsall, or give them a call at 210-434-7867. Peerless Equipment, bringing water to you.
Are you ready for a vacation? Tanya with Travel by Design can help you with all your vacation destination needs. At no cost to you, she can plan all of the details tailored to your unique wants and needs. So all you have to do is enjoy your vacation. Tanya is a certified expert with Disney, Universal Orlando, and California, Sandals, and all cruise lines. Give Tanya a call at 830-931-4834 or visit her Facebook page, Tanya with Travel by Design, for all the latest specials and must-do vacations.
Tondre Gwynn Funeral Home in Castroville, Texas, has been providing funeral services to families in the Medina Valley and surrounding areas for many generations. Tondre Gwynn Funeral Home is proud to support the broadcast by the Medina Valley Broadcast Network for the athletes and students participating in this event. Go Panthers! Tondre Gwynn Funeral Home, Castroville, Texas. You may view obituaries at Tondre, Tondre-Gwynn, Guinn.com, or visit the Facebook page of Tondre Gwynn Funeral Home to view funeral notices.
Welcome back to Sports for Supper, live here from Sammy's Restaurant. Once again, we'd like to thank Anderon and Sammy's Restaurant for hosting us almost every Wednesday. We will not be on next Wednesday, as anytime we have a Thursday game, it's just almost impossible to get a show in during that week.
Well, because we keep the scoreboard and do the
we
announcing
work
for the
sub-varsity games and everything, but we will not have a show next week. We will be back the following week, hopefully. Hopefully this is not our last broadcast, but as we were just discussing with Coach Gomez, there are some possibilities still that, Medina Valley may not have a automatic berth in the playoffs if they don't win these next two games, with some things that could happen around the district. But with that being said, if you win the next two games, there's probably about an 80%, 90% chance that you're in the playoffs.
A loss this week, and the Panthers are done. That is a given.
Yeah, if they lose if they lose either one of the next two games, they could probably be out.
Well, if they lose this one, they are going to be out because they'll have 4 losses, and the worst Legacy can have is 4, and Legacy would have the head-to-head.
Oh, I had it
because they are 4-2, and Medina Valley is 3-3, and then they're 7-0, 6-1, and 6-1.
Yeah, so I have the standings right here. No, I don't. Yes, I do. Standings I had. So the standings look like this. Southside sitting atop the district at 7-0, and they still have a bye week coming up, so they've already clinched.
Yes.
Southwest is 5-1. Cigaroa is 5-1. which Medina Valley still has to play Cigaroa. Cigaroa is playing Southwest this week, so one of those two teams will have 2 losses, and we need it to be Cigaroa for our playoff purposes. And then Southwest Legacy, they're at 4-2. So right now there are 4 teams ahead of the Panthers, who sit at 3-3, and Legacy.
And 3 out of those 4 have the head-to-head matchup against Medina Valley. The only one that hasn't is Cigaroa, and that's because the Panthers have not played them yet.
That's why we need Cigaroa to lose. Legacy still has to play.
But the Panthers need a win this Friday to keep their playoff hopes alive. If they lose this Friday, which they're not going to.
So Legacy is playing Nixon. So Legacy's already played Southside. So if Legacy could really screw things up if they win this week against Nixon, and if they win against Southwest, that puts Medina Valley out.
Even if they lose against Southwest, the best the Panthers can be is 5-3, and if Legacy wins this week, the worst they can be is 5-3.
That's right, and if they finish tied, they advance.
Yep.
So there are some situations out there where the Panthers do not make the playoffs. And I think, we've got a string. I know we mentioned earlier it's been 19 years since we've won a playoff game, but it's been pretty long since we haven't made the playoffs. Yep. So, usually the Panthers will make the playoffs.
A lot of things on the line.
A lot of things happening. Volleyball, volleyball is volleyball. They're going to be playing this week against Southwest Friday night for a seeding game to see who plays Highlands and who plays MacArthur. So, tune in Friday to MVBN 2. And then after that game, you could tune on over to Medina Valley Broadcast Network and catch the football game.
It's not that far of a drive to go watch the volleyball and then come right back to Castroville and watch the football. So you can double dip and go watch Coach Griggs and the Panther volleyball team secure second place.
That's right.
And then come watch the Panthers keep their playoff hopes alive against the South Sand Bobcats.
Also wanted to mention for anybody that watches this back here later on or listens to us later on, the UIL has once again changed how they handle the awarding the playoff games to broadcast units. And mind you, this video broadcast is only 3 years old. It started during COVID. 3-4 years old now is all we've been doing for video broadcasts. So UIL's figuring this out too, but they've awarded the rights to a company, and I talked to the guy today, and they are trying to get everybody to go to a pay-per-view broadcast. And I told the gentleman today that we were not interested in going to pay-per-view broadcasts, that we have advertisers that pay for these broadcasts so that we don't have to charge. But the catch to that is we may not get awarded a game. So if we're not awarded a broadcast rights to a football playoff game or a volleyball playoff game, we will go and still broadcast the game, but it will be an audio-only broadcast. So that's kind of
out
what
of
we're
our
looking
own
at.
hands.
It's out of our hands. We chose to
don't like it. I think it sucks.
Yep, we don't like it. It's they're trying to price people out of things and trying to take stuff away because UIL is all about how they can make their money. We know that. That's why we have 4 teams in the playoffs. It is what it is. So that's just letting you know out there right now. We'll go ahead and tell you about it again Friday. But there may be a possibility where we do not have video broadcast for playoff games. With that being said, though, we still are offering packages. If you'd like to be advertised, we'll do a reader at worst. Or we'll still put a commercial on there. And if you'd like, because we can still do the commercials, we just can't show the game. So we will still run it's just like our Wednesday night broadcast. We'll do a Wednesday night broadcast of the football playoff game or the volleyball game. But if you would like to join in and advertise and for the playoffs, you can contact me and I'll get something shot out over to you. That's Jeff Stivers, 830-931-4504. Or you can reach us at mvbn.net. Give us a shout, and we'll get you on. Maury, a lot of things happening in the college football world, too.
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of fun going on, a lot of equity, it seems like. Some teams are losing that hadn't lost before. Some teams are losing that shouldn't lose. Some teams are winning. You got a lot of excitement going on in the college world. And our player away from home, we used to do that segment on here where we recognized one of our athletes. We do have a athlete playing volleyball over at Clemson. I'm not sure if she's playing yet. I know she was on the injured list there for a while, but Kyla Solis is over at Clemson playing volleyball. Wish her well. We've got a couple of young men playing football around the state. Sotelo is over at TOU. I think he's a senior at Texas Lutheran this year playing tight end, Aaron Sotelo. And I'm going to leave somebody out, so I'm not going to name everybody. We've got a freshman down in Kingsville. We've got a freshman up in Minnesota, I believe. Bullard's playing somewhere up there. So we've got a lot of athletes out there in the state of Texas and beyond that are leaving our school district and going and doing bigger and better things. So get out, watch our kids, watch the student athletes in Medina Valley. A lot of great things happening everywhere at Medina Valley, despite what you may hear from some of the people in the public. A lot of good things going on, Maury.
Yep. Sure is.
That broadcasting school sure is paying off, Maury.
Yeah, it is.
All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and close it out.
It's been a long day.
It's been a long day, absolutely. Thanks to volleyball, Coach Griggs. Good luck to them. And thanks to Coach Gomez and the football players that came out. Looking forward to this week. With that being said, we're going to close it out. So go Panthers, and we'll see you when Panther sports continue.